changing the world once again with 3 questions at a time. It's your night, MJ night, and we're getting started with the logic and myth of all sound, wisdom, the code 92. How you doing? Question 1. Have you heard of a group on YouTube called Midnight's Edge? If so, what are your thoughts on them? They tell it like it is, and too damn bad if you don't like it, and I really admire that kind of brutal honesty that they gave, especially with their thoughts on the pilot episode of Rise of the TMNT. Oh, they were straight up savages. Particularly when they got to their thoughts on John Cena phoning in. I'm like, well, of course he's used to phoning this in. I mean, look at the match. I know you can't really compare a voiceover with a wrestling match, but look at Mania 28. I tell it like it is. But yeah, great group. They just have what someone once referred to my style of opinions as a no holds barred mentality, and they have exactly that. They just tell it like it is. Could care less if you liked what they said or not. It's just like, look, careful what you ask for, because we tell it like it is. And like I say, I absolutely admire that, and I applaud it, and I commend it, because I'm of a sort that I don't really want to, it's not to say I purposely want to put somebody down for a reason, no, because sometimes brutal honesty can actually be an asset, because it can make someone wake up and realize, hey, this is kind of crappy what you're doing, this is how you should do it, rather than beat around the bush or just, frost the opinions and why, frost paste the opinion and what have you. It's just like, nah, just tell it like it is, because sometimes people need to hear that. That's my thought. Question 2 from Aaron Izzard. If you were given full reign to make a Sonic movie, how would you do it? Alright. I would do this one of 2 ways. If this was an animated movie, I would do it completely 2D, no CG, because I don't think there's a reason for traditional 2D animated movies to go away, because there's something quite charming about them, because there are certain nuances and certain ways that movies can be done via 2D that you can't really do 3D. There's not really a sense of magic, or just this sort of way that you can bring out colors in Spectre in CG in the same way that you can do in 2D. I mean, if you look at a classic examples of how animated Disney movies have been done, look at things like The Lion King, look at things like The Little Mermaid, which that is coming up for its 30th anniversary next year, which that's frightening in its own right. Or, look at Princess and the Frog that they brought in 2009. Those type of movies didn't need to go away. So if it was an animated movie, I would do it 2D, and I would do I'd probably do a 100-minute movie adaptation of Satan. But do it in a way whereby certain scenes you need to compress it because you don't want it to drag along, but then have some scenes where you decompress it just so you allow, characters to develop so you can get to know them and not feel like it's being rushed through. So if it was a 2D animated movie, I would do a movie adaptation of Satan, but do it justice. Do it in the style that Ben Hurst wanted to do, because he was fully invested in these characters and the story, and he believed it could go somewhere. And I still do. Season 3. We want it, folks. We want it. For a live action movie, I would do provided money was no object, You know, if I could walk into Paramount Studios tomorrow, say, right, I want to do a live-action CG hybrid adaptation of Sonic Adventure 2. Here's the cast I want to work with. Here's the visual effects studio I want to work with. Here is the voiceover cast I want to bring in. This is the type of mocap I want to do. And I want to do this on a budget of 200 million. That's what I do. Because I think with 90 million, and I'm glad Tim Miller is on board as an executive producer because he knows how to spend the budget accordingly. You know, when you look at what he did with Deadpool, you know, this is a man who knows how to get the best of what he has to work with. You know, it's often said, make more of what you've got rather than trying to make more of what you haven't got. You know, don't complain, you know, use what you've got. So yeah, if it was an animated movie, 2D version of Satam, but done in a way where it's like... It's funny, in the previous episode, Firebird mentions The Land Before Time. I'd love to use that Don Bluth animation style for Sonic the Hedgehog, and of course Sally, but do it in a way whereby you look at the lighting and the shading that movie had, but obviously update it to a point whereby you're still recognizing this animation style, but it's been brought into the modern age. That is how I would do it, where it has this very magical look to it. That's how I would do it. Question 3. What Gerry Anderson series would you like to see revived today? Personally, I think a modern version of UFO would work well with its darker tones and pessimistic attitude to the alien threat. Stay awesome. Also, sorry for last Sunday Night Live. Not sorry, really, it was hilarious. I've been saying this for a while, folks. The one Gerry Anderson series I would love to see revived today is Stingray, because that has been ignored for far too long. Thunderbirds has had 2 attempts at revival, with the second attempt being the most successful. Captain Scarlet had a revival in 2004 with 2 seasons of Gerry Anderson, or of new Gerry Anderson's Captain Scarlet, and you know, if ITV had actually done a lot of better promotion, that show could have gone to maybe 3rd or even a 4th season. But Stingray is something I would like to see have another look at. I definitely do it in a darker tone, but not dark for the sake of dark. Just have things whereby the characters are a little more mature in the writing, you know, where it's not so kiddie, and there's, you know, a lot of... When I say mature themes, I don't mean, you know, controversial stuff, you know, stuff that whereby you're teaching it to a young audience, but you're doing it in a way whereby it makes them think. You know, if you look at how the Satam series with Sonic the Hedgehog raised issues about pollution, they made it interwoven within the story rather than shove it in people's faces like Captain Planet did. Although Captain Planet was a great series, it did kind of force that down your throat, whereas Satam, it was within the story and it was in the background. It wasn't in your face about it, it was there enough to make you think. As to how I would do that version of Stingray, I'd probably do it in a similar fashion to what they're doing with Thunderbirds or Go. Have real model sets, but have the characters and vehicles being CG. That's how I would do it. Those have been your 3 questions this week. You know how the shtick works by now, and I'll see you next episode. Ask again.